Hey guys, just wanted to do a little update video for you. I'm in the process of recording for Capricorn, Aquarius, and Gemini and Libra tonight, so I'll be uploading those videos soon. But for now, I just kind of wanted to talk about some strange experiences that have been happening to me lately. I think like a week ago, and well, it's been building up for a month now, and I felt like I should talk about it. I wasn't sure if I should talk about it or not, or just keep it to myself, but I feel like it needs to be expressed in some sort of way. Um, so a year ago, I went to Rhythmia around this time. I think around October, yeah, the end of October, October 28th, till November 4th, and I made videos about that, and I basically explained all these bizarre experiences that have been happening to me throughout those 4 nights of ceremony, and I'll probably leave a link in this video to link you guys to those videos if you guys want to know more about that situation. But what happened is that I requested for a rebirth when I went there. We arrived on Sunday, so on Monday night, that's when the ceremony started. But on Sunday night, we just sit and we gather all together and we let them know what is it exactly that we want to experience that night, right? And my intention was that I would like to have a rebirth. So that was my intention. I think me and another girl there requested the same thing. So out of everyone, we requested a rebirth. So I requested a rebirth because it's just that it's like there's a part of me that feels that it's like there's a part of me that I know that needs to die. And it did happen when I was there. And it's not that I had death of some sort, but I had like an upgrade. That's what I feel like it was. It was mostly like an upgrade, or kind of like the death of an old identity of mine, and a new birth, the birth of a new version of me, right? Maybe because my previous self didn't serve me any longer, or it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. I wasn't. It was just. It wasn't who I truly was. I felt like I needed support in that sense. So, anyways, that was one of my intentions when I went there, and asked for a rebirth. Right, that was my intention. And throughout the whole 4 days, I did experience that. I had an ego death in the first night. Like, our egos literally don't actually die. It's just like it shuts down for the moment so that like a higher part of you takes over, or you surrender. It is all about surrendering and trust. So we experience some sort of surrender to the situation, right? So that a higher force can take over. And which is exactly what happened to me during those 4 nights. And so the first stage was to kind of shut down that ego of mine temporarily in order to experience those transcendent experiences. But the ego did in a way have some sort of death, some form of death, because I did change. I wasn't the same. So I felt like I built this sort of identity, this sort of egoic identity throughout my 28 years, right? At that time, I was turning 29. No, 29 years actually. Yeah, I turned already 29, and then I experienced this experience. So it felt like my whole 29 years was this sort of identity that I've built for myself, right? The Michelle, I built my Michelle identity, which is now that I think of it, it's kind of like my shell. I've been forming a shell of mine that is just based on ego, and it's like a human identity, and so, but I'll talk about that later, because this was a revelation, a realization I discovered like a week ago. But and during that time a year ago, it's like that was my ego death. It's like eliminating that part of myself that I built through 29 years, or through my career, or through my job, or whatever I was building for myself. That had to kind of end, and that's what I experienced that first night. It was a very drastic shock, right? And then the previous nights were more transcending, was more elevating, was discovering myself more, kind of like a Buddha Sifa kind of feeling, where I started to realize kind of my nature and what I'm supposed to be doing, and just discovering more of my humbleness, or more of that part of myself, right? And kind of accepting that, there's nothing wrong about that. I think it's okay to admit that we follow certain paths, right? And my path is aiming towards that direction, right? Towards serving others, being in service of others, helping others awaken in that sense. But before I do that, I have to help myself first. I have to finish my awakening process, right? And my healing before I can do that to others. And I feel that I still have a lot of work to do, but I think that's what's happening right now at the moment, is that integration and initiation process, I think, that I'm going through right now, but back to a year ago. So the other nights were about a revelation about that, about myself, and kind of realizing my purpose here, is to serve others in that sense. And then I kind of was able to transcend in a higher state, where I went into a much higher frequency than before. So this helped me to expand myself and elevate myself at such a high frequency that it was very crazy now that I think about it, because that's something really scary, and it's very scary for your body to handle that, because your body can be in intense shock. But all I was feeling was like wanting to throw up, because my body was such in a high frequency that when I came back to the physical reality, it was too much for my body, that it needed to vomit. So it was overwhelming, and I feel like that actually helped me, push away from my old identity. So my old form, my old shell, and kind of like an upgrade, right? Kind of like I was upgraded. But on the last night, I never got the chance to experience one thing. And I had a feeling that it was something to do with lions, because I kept seeing tigers and lions images of everywhere. And I don't know why I never got to see that revelation, right? And now that it's been a year, a lot of strange things have been happening, and now I know why, what was that message about. And I really feel like it was something to do with star beings, with extraterrestrials, and I feel like I wasn't ready to figure that out yet at that time, but now I'm slowly discovering that I may have a strong connection with them, being unaware of it, of course. And I feel like, well, they already tell you this, that in Rhythmia, a lot of extraterrestrials actually come and do a lot of healing for you. It's not just Mother Ayahuasca that comes in and does the healing for you, but it's also extraterrestrials. Our star brothers and sisters come in and help you and adjust any dis-ease that's been in your body, right? And so they've been actually helping me a lot now that I'm thinking about it. And not just when I'm there, but even when I came back home, especially recently, I've had an interaction with them. I think I made a video about that too. And I'll probably link it here too, because it links to this story. And so that experience was like a very mild experience where I did start to see them from afar, and I started to have contact with them in a way. But because of my that survival reptilian brain that is scared of these encounters, it tries its best to kind of give a lot of fear to push all that experiences away. You have to be mindful that our bodies are very intelligent. So our bodies are highly intuitive and intelligent, and all it wants is to protect you. All it wants is to warn you of certain things that can be dangerous, or that doesn't feel normal. And in this situation, it wasn't really normal for the body. The body is intelligent and intuitive, but it's based on survival, it's based on the ego, so it's hard for it to comprehend what is happening. And so is our minds, that reptilian part of our brains, right? It's difficult for that part of ourselves to comprehend what's happening. So a lot of fear took over when I was experiencing these things, especially during ayahuasca. And that's why the ego has to be shut down throughout the first ceremonies to allow this experience to take over, because or else the ego won't allow you to experience these things, because it will provide lots of fear, anxiety, or it will just stop you. So now that experience was over and I finished with arrhythmia and my ayahuasca experience, and a couple of months have passed, I started to experience those weird experiences with extraterrestrials. And I think I had my first contact in a way, but this was more like a wave, like a friendly wave at a distance, right? It wasn't an interaction yet. It wasn't like a physical interaction. Although I do feel a lot of that physical interaction did happen in arrhythmia, because although, yeah, it is Mother Ayahuasca, I feel like the extraterrestrials already are very involved in it as well. So I felt that they were taking over a lot of the situation as well when I was taking the plant medicine. And because a lot of the feelings I'm feeling right now are similar feelings that I felt when I was taking ayahuasca during those ceremony nights. So that experience, the first contact experience after the arrhythmia experience a couple months later, that I had a certain contact, and that was more like a friendly kind of hello kind of contact at a distance, but it was mixed with a lot of negative experiences. So I feel like I still don't know how to control this kind of new enhanced ability, I guess I can call it, where I can accidentally connect with other entities perhaps that are not that, I don't know, that are not that benevolent, let's just say, whereas I need to focus on the ones that are there trying to help me. It's kind of like I'm scattered everywhere, like, I don't know where I'm, how to control this. So that was very scary. And so right away I started to shut everything out and start to deny whatever experience was happening to me at that time. And so I completely shut everything down. Getting to this point of the video is that a week ago it was the anniversary of my first time experiencing ayahuasca and going through those 4 nights of ceremony. And what ended up happening was so bizarre, is that they started to contact me now physically. So what ends up happening is that I start to feel like this weird feeling, this kind of anxiety feeling, and I was starting to feel anxious, and I didn't know why. And this has been happening for a month lately, so I don't know why suddenly I've been having these, anxiety attacks, panic attacks, or just this weird kind of gut feeling, right? And it's been happening a lot lately that I didn't discover what it was until until this one night. I think it was, actually it was on the same night, I think, same date, where I started my first ayahuasca experience, the first night ceremony. So what happened was that I started to feel this weird sensation, like this feeling of anxiety, but then I surrendered to it. And then what ended up happening was that I felt my body kind of elevated, and I got so scared, and I automatically, my intuition said, oh my God, they're here again, it's them again. So right away my fear-based thoughts just took over, and didn't want that experience, and didn't want them to take me away. And I was like, no, go away, it's you again, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. That I had to try to ground myself so that they wouldn't take me. So I don't think they were going to take me, but it was a feeling as if I was being pulled towards a different reality. I was being pulled towards, it was the same feeling that I had at arrhythmia, where I was being pulled somewhere else, right? And you have this experience. So I was being pulled somewhere else, and I didn't want that experience because I was very fearful because of the previous experience that happened a couple months ago. So I blocked everything out at that time, but now it's like I'm being forced to be open with it again. So I was feeling like I was being pulled upwards again, and I was doing my best to kind of block it again and keep myself grounded. And apparently when they come and they enter, I have this weird sensation in my third eye. So it's like I'm channeling. So I feel like this light passing through me, and I can feel like my eyes shaking, like you're channeling in some sort of way. And I could see this white light passing through me, and my eyes are just like shaking like crazy. And then I feel my whole body's sensation shift, and like this whole tingling feeling happening within me. And like I hear like this frequency. So they entered my body, and I felt them healing all the parts of my chakra. So they went through the root, and I could feel the energy of the root. And then they went through the sacral part of my chakra, and I could feel the sexual energy passing through. And then the solar plexus, and then the heart, throat, third eye, and so on, and then the crown. And it just felt so bizarre, because it felt like my whole body was possessed. Like as it was going through each chakra, my body was just shifting like crazy. Like it would just shift and move like this. And I was just like, what's happening? I have no control. Literally, my body was moving on its own. I wasn't even moving my body. It was just shifting. And I was vibrating so high, but it was just so aggressive same time. It wasn't something gentle. It was like, bam, here, take this to heal. Like it was like a drastic healing session, until finally reached to my crown. And then I finally, finished the whole session finished. And after that whole session finished, my whole body was just shaking. I was like shaking like this, like frozen, like cold, like super cold. And then I started to realize that that could reflect my life. Only lion beings would be very drastic and aggressive like that to help you heal quickly. I don't know. And then I don't know why I related that to myself, and related to how I handle life in a more, like, I put that energy of, being strong towards my siblings as well. If you're too unattached to certain things, then in order to be strong in this life, then you could disconnect yourself emotionally with your heart space, and disconnect yourself to the world, or disconnect yourself to others. So as I was shaking with coldness after that experience, I had all these thoughts, right? And that the thought that, what these beings are doing to me could be a little bit too drastic, but it's for my own good. But at the same time, it made me realize that maybe I was being like that towards other people as well, just so that they can be more stronger in life. So that's the feeling I got from that experience. And as soon as I said that, as soon as I said I got that awareness, my body just stopped shaking, as if nothing happened, as if I was not shaking intensely, like with hyperthermia or something like that. That's how bad I was shaking. But as the moment I became aware of why I was shaking in this coldness, and this awareness came into my thoughts, everything just stopped. I just stopped shaking. So I've been having these weird, bizarre experiences with like situations like that. And the next day was the same thing. It's like I kind of have to surrender now, because now they're just coming more frequently to interact with me. So I just sit there and I have to isolate myself and go in a sort of trance, in this sort of allowance, or like allowing, and allowing them to come into my body and teach me certain things. And now I understand what is actually happening. They told me that I can't physically like hear them, but they tell you things intuitively, and you know, you're going through, it's like you're on a different wavelength. So when I tune into that zone, it's like I can't feel my physical body anymore, that I have to make sure that I'm physically here, because my physical body starts to kind of dissolve in a way. And as it dissolves, I start to get these realizations and awareness. And what I felt was that something was being activated in my crown, and it just like formed towards my heart area, and like this light just emanated from my heart, like this little burst just suddenly exploded and kind of like surrounded my area. And it's like, I don't know, it's like the heart just expanded. It was such a strange feeling. And they told me that this was my upgrade from last year from arrhythmia. So I basically had a rebirth last year, and this was like celebrating my 1 years of my new identity, of my new, not identity, of my new form. So this was kind of like the anniversary of my initiation process from last year. So everything just started to make sense. I'm just like, so this is why all this is happening to me, is because I'm being upgraded, I don't know, to like level 1, let's just say. I'm but a baby, you know, because Michelle, that part of my identity kind of died. Michelle died a year ago. Michelle died when she was 29, let's just say. She didn't really die. I mean, she's like that part, that my egoic identity, the human part of me, you know, that part of myself, that chapter was over. So there's this new being that was born last year. She was just born, and I have a name for her, but I won't mention it here. But this new person was born last year, and she's inside of me. Okay, and this year she turns 1 year old. So, because it's kind of very difficult to explain what they told me. Is like, Michelle was just like a shell, you know? But think of it like a bottle, a glass bottle, right? It has to be physical, right? And it has to allow something to come in. So, okay, the best example is, think of this as, you know, your physical body, your shell. So I reincarnated, and the purpose of my reincarnation was to form this glass little bottle, let's just say, or glass cup. Okay, so this whole thing, this whole layer, right? This whole layer is the egoic body, the egoic mind, the Michelle. Okay, this is Michelle, human form Michelle, right? And so it took 29 years to build this, let's just say. Now, after this, it's complete. 29 years have passed and the shell is ready. Michelle is ready to bring forth, the next layer, let's just say, to pour in the water. And this is the human body Michelle, right? And so what happened at Arrhythmia was this. Okay? This is what happened. Okay? So now something was poured inside of this shell. And this is another part of me. It's really strange to explain, but this is another part of me, and it has a name. I know the name, but I won't mention it. And she was conceived, she was born on that day, on October 31st. So like my birthday, Michelle's birthday, the shell's birthday, was born on July 31st. But now the new version of Michelle was born on October 31st, entering into Michelle's physical body. So this Mrs. S, call her Mrs. S, now has turned 1 year old. So now that she is 1 year old, there's more energetic upgrade. So this is her being 1 year old now. So meaning it's more has been downloaded and upgraded. So it's up to here now. So this is what's happening. I can't explain it, but I understand it in an intuitive way how they explain it to me. So the reason I've been going through these weird experiences, these energetic upgrades, I think, is because this new identity is being formed inside of me that is just 1 year old. So I feel like she's 1 year old now, and like what I feel is like there's just there are new abilities, right? And sensory abilities that I'm starting to get used to now. Like I'm starting to learn how to use them. And part of it is clairvoyance, but it might be clairaudience later on. So, but I know right now I'm channeling and I'm receiving certain channeling. They're interacting with me. I feel them now. Whereas before, when I was scared and running away from them, it was more like just a friendly hello. But now they're actually physically interacting with me, and I can feel it. And they've been doing this for like four nights. It was really intense, those 4 nights, a week ago. During the same time during the same dates where I went through my ayahuasca experience, right? They were doing the same process again with me during those nights. And now I understood why, because it was because of this 1 year upgrade, 1 year level up upgrade. So now I have all these weird sensations now that I have to learn to control or understand them better. So one thing is I get a lot of anxiety because the physical body is sensing that something is intruding in my space, something is going in my body. And so there was a long period of time where I didn't know where this anxiety came from, and it was very uncomfortable. But now I can understand where it's coming from. It's basically coming from them. They're intruding into my space and into my body. So what I do now is that when I feel this gut anxiety emotions in my gut area, I just allow it and surrender. And I just close my eyes and I start to see a white light, and it goes through me. So they're constantly contacting me for some reason. They're constantly interacting with me now. It's not just once in a while. I think now every night they want to contact. And so I go and have my own space to contact with them, and they actually, and it actually feels like the same feeling that happened to me in Rhythmia. So they're actually, yeah, my whole body starts to vibrate, my whole body starts to shift and go into a different reality. It's so strange. And then I do see a white light passing through me, and it's like, feels like I'm channeling. So I can be walking in the middle of the street, or I can be in the mall, completely a place that has nothing to do with, tuning in with them. And then I can get this anxiety feeling, and then I know what it is, and then I just close my eyes, and then I can feel them intruding in my body again, and they're coming in. And so I'm just like, why are they doing this? There's still a lot of things I don't know what's happening. A lot of the theory is, ascension process, integration. So I just was reading something here about ascension, and how in the law of one, it's something to do with, they call it the harvest, right? How they all harvest us because when we reach a certain point, I think it's time to harvest us. Or I know it sounds strange when you say harvest, but it's actually it's like you're going through a graduation stage. It's like, think of like Earth as a school, and you're learning a lot of things and lessons here, but there comes a point where now there's just not much to learn, or there's just a point where you just reached a stage of stagnation, like you've already understood everything in a sense, whereas like there's no need to form karmic relationships or even form a family or kids. It's like you come to the realization that is all karma in a sense. It's hard to explain, but I've been having these profound, deep feelings and experiences where a lot of things feel unnecessary at the moment. Although you do have, obviously it's a human desire to desire, having these things, just as you have the desire to, have a career, have goals in life, and accomplish certain things, certain successes. It's the same thing with family. Everything starts to feel like an illusion, and everything doesn't. It's like you're starting to wake up from the Matrix. That's the feeling I got, and that's the feeling I got when I was at my dad's place and had those weird first encounters. I had the feeling like I was glitching, and now I think I feel like I'm glitching again. So it's a really strange feeling, and maybe it's like a feeling that things are done here, or maybe like, I don't know, these are just my thoughts. Probably I can be completely off and nothing to do with what's really happening to me, but I don't know, what I sense is that, there is a level of completion happening, like you're done, you're done here, let's just say, and it's time to move on to the next level. It's like a graduation, and this is what they call ascension, or in the law of one, they call it the harvest. Right, when something has matured already and it's ripe enough to go on to the next level, let's just say. So I don't know, that's one of my theory, or something that I've been feeling. And it's interesting, like, I want to read something here about the harvest, or about ascension. And I think it was in the law of one, and it says here, the spirit complex of each harvested entity moves along the line of light until the light grows too glaring, at which time the entity stops. This entity may have barely reached third density, or may be very, very close to the ending of the third density light-love distortion vibratory complex. Nevertheless, those who fall within this octave of intensifying light love then experience a major cycle during which the opportunities are many for the discovery of the distortions which are inherent in each entity, and therefore the lessening of these distortions. So I have a feeling that this is something to do with, there comes like a stage where you start to shift from third density to fourth density. But in this case, I think the Earth has been in fourth density for quite some time. So this could be shifting to fifth density. I'm not sure. But these weird theories, and I'm feeling all these things. And what do you guys think? What do you guys think could be happening? But like right now, I can hear the buzzing noise right now, and that it's like I can feel their ship, and I can hear it when they're around, and then I can sense when they start to enter my body as well. So I have a feeling what's happening is that there's just being these energetic upgrades from them, that they've been helping me because they've healed a lot of parts of my body, and now they keep downloading things in me. So until she's fully matured enough, so there's this new form being taken place inside of me that has abilities and is growing. And the first little ability is like channeling or being clairvoyant or audient. And every year is going to fill up another one. 4 years old, 5 years old, until she's done maturing. And I feel like there's going to be a third stage too. And then I'm going to have to call her a different name. I think there's 3 stages. That's what I feel. But it's strange. Like, as I'm saying all this, I kind of feel these weird sensations in my body, like, and I can hear them. I sound crazy. But yeah, this is what's happening with me right now. I don't know exactly what's happening, but if you guys know what's happening with me, let me know. I definitely feel like I need some sort of mentor to guide me with my energies and what's happening to me, so that I can learn how to control these abilities, right? And in a form, like I do have some sort of premonitions. I have dreams and things that do come true, and I have developed my intuition fairly strongly, and I feel like it's enhancing even more. But this whole experience is like another level, and it's something that I need to learn to control more. And now there's interactions with them, so I don't know what to think about this, about what's happening with me, where my body now is kind of like ready to receive this other part of myself, and it's going to slowly mature throughout the years, as well as these abilities that are being downloaded inside of me. So just wanted to share this thought with you guys, and yeah, just like a blog of something that's happening with me, and maybe I can find the answers through you guys, okay? And seeing what kind of steps I need to take on forward. But yeah, that's all I have for today. So see you guys in my next video. Bye.